dictionary definition of music is the art of arranging sounds in time through the elements of melody, harmony, rhythm, and timbre. Low Pass Filter is a show about the nature of this thing we call music, how it functions in people's lives, how it's contextualized by society, and why we find certain music meaningful. This is Low Pass Filter. Hello, and welcome to Low Pass Filter. This is a show about music and what it means in our lives. My name is Matteo Noce, and today I'm really excited to have Bryan Bielanski here with us. Bryan, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Matteo. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. So you are in town to do a show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your show for tonight?
Oh, sure. Yep. The Redwood Curtain Brewery. I'm performing from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's the Myrtle location there.
Okay.
And yeah, it is my first time ever performing in Eureka. I'm very glad I've gotten to make it. Toured through California many times, so it's great that I get to make a tour stop here in Eureka for the first time.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that because I'm just looking at the list of places that you've been, and you have toured through a lot of different states and countries and provinces and what have you. So what's it like to be on the road, and how much time do you spend on the road? What's it like to be on it, and how much time do you spend on it per year?
Well, this year I've been on the road since January. Well, also in the sea and the air. The tour this year started in Europe, okay. So spent the first 2 months this year in Europe, and then I had a week off before the U.S. and Canada part of the tour started. So, wow. And I have tour dates on the schedule till November this year. So, and I kind of decide what I'm going to do season by season. You know, it's some people have made the comment that you just tour nonstop, and that's not necessarily true. I always make the call like one season at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Well, we're grateful to have you here in Humboldt County, and I don't know what you know about this place, but we are really an area that's dedicated to the arts and music, and there's a lot of great happenings going on here, so hopefully you'll get a chance to stick around and check out some of the stuff before you move on.
Absolutely, and that one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be here. You know, it's always great to be in a community where people respect arts and music, and not to mention the beautiful natural scenery of up here. As I'm very, very excited to spend a little time.
Absolutely. Now, your press kit says that Imagine REM and the Beatles had a kid together. I don't want to, I'm trying to push that thought of that conception out of my mind, but that person would be you. And then I also see that you list as influences people like Tom Petty and Buddy Holly. And so what do you think, why do you draw inspiration from those particular sources?
Well,
I mean, I know why you dropped the Beatles. I mean, I think everybody, tends to go there, but.
Well, actually, it seems like with the youngsters today that it's almost cool to not like the Beatles these days, yeah. in certain circles. But I'm definitely not part of those circles. I think music, popular music as we know it today, was kind of shaped by them. And then the other artists, REM. Being from North Carolina, of course I was very young when they were blowing up and getting popular, but we were very excited to have a band become so popular from not too far away, in Georgia there, just a couple hours drive, basically from where I grew up in North Carolina. So it was kind of, we kind of adopted them as kind of like the closest thing to local hero makes good kind of thing. And yeah, Tom Petty, I basically just I like the catchy, like hooky songs that are have a good hook, and that to me that's always been the kind of music I like the most. But of course, I do like all different kinds of music too. I listen to a lot of classical music, some older country music, and just kind of all over the place with my tastes. I think if music has a good message, then it's I like any genre if its songs are putting a good message out there.
Okay. So what can folks expect to see and hear when they come to a Bryan Bielanski show?
Well, you know, I'm on tour promoting my latest album, Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time 3, and I definitely I definitely try to live up to that name. So, you know, people should expect some happy, positive songs. You know, some of them are a little silly that people like. Some of them, you know, I definitely try to put smiles on people's faces. And, you know, I'll be playing a lot of my original music from my albums, and also, you know, doing some of my versions of some of the artists' songs that inspired me, like the ones that you listed that are in my bio there.
Yeah, so you seem to, and I think this is great, but you seem to have lit onto the positive vibe sort of side of things. And I mean, we live in a world, as you know, which has got a lot of negativity going on, even, you know, right here locally. And but so your positive take on things is this kind of like how, I don't want to be cynical and say finger in the dike sort of thing, but more of like trying to lift people up. Is that where you're headed with that?
Well, absolutely. You know, and you know, there is, like, you know, a lot of sorrow in the world, but I feel like, you know, if I could just make a small little, like, you know, a small little difference by putting a smile on somebody's face by singing about you know, Super Mario, or how I like to eat tacos, or you know, hanging out in libraries, like, might have like a little ripple effect, and just, you know, putting a smile on someone's face at one of my shows might somehow just cause them to do something a little positive. And I think that, you know, positivity is contagious. So even if it's a very small way, I'd like to hope I'm, you know, making people's lives just a tiny bit better, even if it's a small way.
Well, that is a worthy cause for sure.
Thank you.
So, why don't you give us a little sample of one of your songs?
All right, well, great. This first song I'll do, it's called Rock the Library USA. It's about how I hang out in libraries all day, city to city, around the world, because it's a free place where I can, you know, set up my laptop and get some business done, and every once in a while read a book too. It's called Rock the Library USA. Well, honey, I know what you need. I like to write and you like to read. I really like the way you look. Are you gonna check out my library book? Cause I'm your host with the most rockin' libraries, coast to coast. On I-10, I-20, I-30, 40, I-50, I-60, I-70, 80. I love you, baby, don't mean maybe. You're hotter than mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'm your host, A-OK. Rockin' Libraries USA, yeah, you look so cute in your glasses, studying for college classes. No fails, only passes, sweeter than Alabama molasses. I'm your host with the most rockin' libraries, coast to coast. On I-10, I-20, I-30, 40, I-50, I-60, I-70, 80. I love you, baby, don't mean maybe. You're hotter than mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'm your host, A-OK. Rockin' Libraries USA, yeah. Rock, rock, rock the library. 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 I'm your host, A-OK. Rockin' Libraries USA, let's rock. Yeah, honey, I know what I need. I like a girl that likes to read. Come on, baby, I'm no fool. I know that the library's cool, and I'm your host with the most rockin' libraries, coast to coast on I-10, I-20, I-30, 40, I-50, I-60, I-70, 80. I love you, baby, don't mean maybe. You're hotter than mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'm your host, A-OK, rockin' libraries, USA, yeah. Rock, rock, rock the library. 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 I'm your host, A-OK, rockin' libraries, USA.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Oh, quite welcome.
Yeah. So the show that we're on right now, Low Pass Filter, is a show that I usually do with a partner, Bandon, and we talk about a lot of fairly deep and sometimes surface topics about music. And one of the topics that we talked about was first musical memories. And so I'm just going to throw this out here. What's the first music that you remember?
So it would be me in my crib as an infant, watching my mom, dad, and sister dancing around to them playing rock and roll records very loud. So and they played all kinds of, you know, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, early Pink Floyd kind of stuff. However, I also actually attended a concert by an underground new wave band called Perubu that was, familiar with them. Mm-hmm. So my parents went to one of their concerts in Cleveland, Ohio, which is born in the area there before we moved to North Carolina. So I actually attended a Perubu concert before I was born. So that was so.
Wow.
So I guess that set the precedent for me, you know, and when I became a teenager and I, you know, heard the White Album for the first time and like really gave it a good listen. That was the album that really made me decide I wanted to play guitar and be a musician. Yeah,
and I was going to ask you about that. Was guitar your first instrument, and what other kind of things do you play? Is it just guitar, or do you branch out into other areas?
Yeah, so guitar is my main instrument. Yeah. However, like when I'm touring, I do just play acoustic guitar, and but on my albums, the studio albums, I'm also playing bass guitar. I do percussion on quite a few of the tracks, except for the ones that are a little too tricky, where I get my producer to help. But yeah, percussion, bass, keyboards. I also do harmonicas and kazoos live too. So nice. a little mix in there. I would really love to improve a little on the keyboards. That's something, you know, if a little free time comes my way, trying to get a little better on keyboards, but definitely bass guitar and percussion in the mix there. And so,
have you always been a solo act? Did you do the band thing, or you know?
I did the band thing for quite a while, and once the band thing was a lot. Basically, did that part time for many years, but once it got to the point where it seemed like, well, it's reaching the level where, you know, this music's going to be full time. It made sense to go to being solo because it's just a lot easier managing the logistics of touring as much as I tour if it's just me and no one else. So I have to do a lot more work in a way, but it's definitely, it makes things a lot easier.
You're your own boss.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
And if things go wrong, you've got nobody to blame but yourself.
And I love that. That's one of the reasons I like it too.
Yeah. So we talked about, you know, Beatles and Buddy Holly and Tom Petty, and so what kind of modern music are you listening to? Modern music, and what do you hear out there that you like?
You know, the modern music that I listen to is basically bands that I perform with. You know, I do quite a few shows where I'm the only performer, but I think the stuff that I'm listening to the most is music that I from the people that I meet, that I share the stage with on my tours. So, you know, a lot of underground independent music, and a lot. One of the reasons why I love touring, because I get to discover so much new music just from the performers that I perform with. So that's basically you know, a lot of underground independent stuff from people that I know personally from having played with them. Nothing. I guess I'm not really listening to anything mainstream that's current. I should keep up with that stuff a little more. It's definitely
why?
You know, for knowledge's sake, if nothing else. But yeah, you know, it's with the touring. I mean, I wish there was more, like, you know, 30 hours in the day or 32 instead of 24. Because yeah, keeping up with some of the contemporary stuff.
I hear that. So you're from North Carolina, and
Yes.
and is it what area in North Carolina?
I am from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, okay.
Yes.
And so what is the Charlotte music scene like, the local scene there? Is there a scene, and what's it like? Is it vibrant, or is it kind of sort of happening, or what's
You know, and that's a very good question. And honestly, I mean, I like this year, I'm only going to be there a few weeks, so it's I definitely have a few venues there that I always perform at. There's one in particular called Tommy's Pub, which is a great, like, venue for underground independent music. But you know, I'm just not there enough to give a valid. It was definitely, you know, when I was there more often, it's a supportive scene, and you know, it definitely got to a level of success from playing in Charlotte in the southeast region of the U.S. to where I was able to make the step to doing music full time. But right now, I'm just, I sadly to say, I'm kind of just out of the loop of the Charlotte music scene from being away 10 or 11 months out of the year.
right? Looking at where you've been, I could see where that would happen.
Well, like I said, luckily I know that my you know, one venue that's continues to support me. I know whenever I have a week off, I always do a show down there at the Tommy.
You can't just have a week off. You have to go and play music.
I have to do a show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
even
it.
on my week off. Yeah.
Sure. So I noticed that you've got listed in here Switzerland and Poland, and some of these countries that are not necessarily countries where English is a first language. And I'm just wondering how you get over in a place like that. I know a lot of people in Europe speak English really well, and some of them better than people in the United States. But
Indeed.
yeah. But I can imagine that sometimes you're playing to audiences where not everybody is attuned to the English languages, and I'm just wondering what that is like.
Well, you know, thankfully, with all the technology we have, I utilized a lot of Google Translate. So although I still sang all my songs in English, no matter what country I was in, whether it was German, Finnish, Swedish, Portuguese, I learned how to introduce my songs, how to introduce myself, how to thank the audience, how to, you know, thank everybody for coming, thank them for being a great audience. So all the things I say in between songs and before the show and after the show, I learned how to say that in every different language for every different country that I was in, to keep it, you know, and the audiences there in Europe on this past tour, they seem to really appreciate that I took the effort to try to learn. Polish was definitely the trickiest one. Out of all the languages that I learned, you know, a little bit, that was the trickiest.
A lot of
one.
consonants.
The words that had the WCZs together, that was really tricky.
So did you cover Shilibdik?
I did. Come give me deine hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on.
So I did that. I didn't get all the words right, but I did about half of it in German and half in English. Yeah, because that's very interesting too. Yeah, that
I'm sure they appreciated the effort.
indeed, and not a lot of people know that the Beatles did a few songs in German there.
In German and French and Spanish. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So why don't you give us another one? Well, can we get another song out of you?
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, so this next one is also from Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time 3. It was actually the first single to appear off the album. It's called I'm Your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Oh yeah, you're Super Mario. Give me a try, you won't be sorry, oh. Oh no, you won't be sorry, oh. I'm getting big, I'm getting super. I'm gonna save you from King Koopa. You're gonna be my Princess Peach. The level 8 castle is in my reach. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Oh yeah, you're Super Mario. You just stay away from Wario. Oh no, don't go with Wario. You're gonna be my Princess Peach. The level 8 castle is in my reach. And all my dreams have come true, except the one where I save you. Where I save you. Where I save you. Where I save you. All my dreams have come true, except the one where I save you. I just wanna be your guy. We'll have a super happy fun time. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario now.
Love it.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I got to admire you playing 12-string guitar. I finally sold mine because I couldn't hold the strings down. It must take some stamina to do a whole set of music with. Is that your main axe?
It is, yeah. This is the one that I play every single night on tour. It's also featured on my latest album too. And yeah, honestly, so I play in a lower tuning.
Okay.
And it actually, the 12 string's easier to play than the 6 string because I use a very heavy string.
So you're down a half step?
I am down a full step.
A full step.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. This is I play in D instead of E, all the way down there, and makes it easier to sing.
Yeah,
which is the main reason why I did that. And of course, you have to use the very thick strings, being in the lower tuning. But then the 12 string actually, since there's more tension on the neck, it's actually it's easier to play this than it was my 6 string with the heavier strings.
I'll be darned. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. So, what would you like the audience to know about you? What do you want to tell people? That maybe entice them to, if not come to the show tonight, maybe discover your music and maybe pick up a. So are they still selling CDs? Or are you doing downloads, or how are you doing?
Oh well, I do still sell CDs both at my shows and on my website, and yeah, I just I sing a lot of songs about there's a lot of songs about my travels, and I'm just I consider myself really lucky to be doing what I'm doing, and I just, like I said, I just try to spread a little bit of joy in a small way, and I just I believe that with hard work and a positive attitude, you can accomplish anything in life, whether it's in music or any endeavor. So, and of course, anyone that wants to find out more about my music, I've got the official website, bryansuperhappyfuntime.com.
Okay.
And, that's like a one-stop shop. You can see everything, like links to every possible thing online. And, and once again, tonight at the Redwood Curtain Brewery here, May 2nd, 2024. So really looking forward to my debut performance here.
Awesome. Well, that's great, Bryan. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Mateo. Thanks for having me.
And I'd like to thank all of you for watching and or listening to Low Pass Filter. We'll see you again real soon.